On the 148th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of NFL offseason news. Breece Hall signing an extension with the Jets. NFL schedule is supposed to be released on Thursday. What's next for Aaron Rodgers? We have some NBA playoffs news. LeBron's last game could potentially be on Monday. Steve Kerr signs a 2-year extension with the Warriors. We go over MLB news, ABS, what has it done so far this season, going over current MLB standings, and then March Madness tournament extends to 76 teams in each tournament. Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports for checking out at w.gg for 10% off your order. Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Okay, we are here starting off episode 148 of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, talking about some NFL news. This is going to be a pretty heavy NFL news day, which is surprising because, we're in the offseason. You don't hear a lot about NFL news and stuff like that. But Breece Hall signed an extension with the Jets. It is a 3-year, $43.5 million extension and can be worth up to $45.75 million with incentives for just 3 years. This is averaging $14.4 million per year and is ranked 4th among the highest paid running backs. Saquon Barkley is first. He has the highest annual salary for average annual salary for the NFL with $20.6 million. Christian McCaffrey is being paid $19 million a year, and then Derrick Henry is getting paid $15 million a year. But Breece Hall, early in his career, he is averaging, $14.5 million. So good for him. He was franchise tagged on March 3rd, just a couple months ago, at $14.3 million, and he would have played on that tag if this deal wasn't reached by July 15th. So the Jets were basically like, yeah, we'll pay you $200,000 more just to keep you, because they traded away last November, I believe. Yeah, November 4th of last year, the Jets traded away Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, but they kept Breece Hall while they're trying to do their rebuilding kind of process and team and whatever they're trying to do. They're trying to do better than they have in the last few years. Last year they went 3-14, but last year he did have a career high with over 1,000 rushing yards, and I think the future's bright for Breece Hall. I don't think he loves staying on the Jets. Again, they were 3-14 last year. Just not a very good team, and it sucks for him because he's one of the best running backs in the league, and just put on this horrible team. So it sucks for Breece Hall, but at the same time, nobody's going to complain about making $15 million a year for the next 3 years, and he deserves this. Let's look up his Breece Hall stats. Again, career's been really short. He's been playing since 2022, but here we are here. Yeah, no, I thought he's had a better career than what he is right here, but he's still good. He's averaging 4.5 touchdowns a season. Again, I thought he had better stats than this. Last year, like I said, he had over 1,000 rushing yards in 16 games. His rookie season, he only played 7 games, and then he's played every single game since. But yeah, he's going out there. He's in a positive slope, his future's bright. It's just early. He's just early in his career. How old is he? He's 24 years old, birthday coming up. Breece Hall's good. He's good. 4th highest paid running back. Jets keep him. It's an interesting strategy that the Jets are going with, but I guess you got to try something with the rebuild and going 3-14, and you got to get rid of some guys and keep some guys and stuff like that. You showing the lottery? Checking out the TikTok live here. Not sure what lottery you're talking about. But, Breece Hall is going to stay a Jet for a few more seasons. The NFL schedule is supposed to release this Thursday. We already know of a couple of games. We know that little NFC West matchup is going to happen in Australia. Week 1, you have the 49ers and Rams that are going to be playing each other on, it's like 8:35 p.m. Eastern time, but over there it's going to be like the next day at 10:35. We also know that the Ravens and Cowboys will play in Rio de Janeiro in week 3. That will be September 27th. And then there are supposed to be 7 other international games that are supposed to be revealed on Wednesday at 9 o'clock on Good Morning Football on NFL Network. And then we know that the Seahawks are going to play the first game of the season. The opponent hasn't been announced yet. We know this game is going to be on September 9th, but it's a possibility. There are a few teams. I know the Chargers, maybe Ravens are possible, but there's a real possibility that the Seahawks will have a Super Bowl matchup against the Patriots for the first game of the season. I think that if that happens, the Patriots have a chance at winning, even though the Seahawks absolutely blew the Patriots out of the water to become Super Bowl champions. I feel like the Seahawks have lost some guys that were crucial to that team, and the Patriots have a chance at taking their revenge, if you want to call it revenge. I mean, we already took the Super Bowl. Seahawks already won the Super Bowl. But if they want to win week 1, I think that they would be favored to win week 1 if they ended up playing the Seahawks again. We'll know for sure on Thursday, because that is when the NFL will release their schedule. And it'll also be cool, all the NFL teams every year, especially more popular in the last few years with social media, have found out a cool way to release their schedules. We've seen a few different videos, and I don't know. It's really cool, but we'll see it all on Thursday. And I'm sure the social media managers across all 32 NFL teams are working right now, getting those videos ready, and then just, again, submitting each team. But Aaron Rodgers is going to turn 43 during the 2026 season. Is he going to stay with the Steelers? It kind of sounds like it. So he's expected to visit the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend right now, and is more than likely going to play with them in the 2026 season. 43 years old as a starting quarterback for the Steelers in the NFL is crazy. 43 years old playing in the NFL is nuts. You have some guys that are 20 years old, 22 years old playing, and then you have Aaron Rodgers, 43. As of right now, there's not an agreement set between the two sides, but Mike McCarthy coached Aaron Rodgers with the Packers for like 13 years, and then they won a Super Bowl together. So I think that is definitely going to help Aaron Rodgers' decision. But from the last few years, we have seen that Aaron Rodgers, his decisions aren't like weeks beforehand. It's very final minute, and so we might not know till not opening day, but until like the workouts start. Omar Khan, who is the GM for the Steelers, and Mike McCarthy said that they placed no deadline on Aaron Rodgers, but Khan, the GM for the Steelers, said that that it's all positive and good. They did. This doesn't happen often, but the Steelers applied a UFA tender, which is rarely used, but this would pay Aaron Rodgers about $15 million to play next season, which is a 10% raise on last year's salary for Aaron Rodgers. That's if Aaron Rodgers decided to sign. So he would get another great payday. Aaron Rodgers is an interesting dude, though. You don't know what he's going to choose. Obviously, he doesn't need the money, but he wants to play, and I'm sure he would take $15 million. But the tender, this UFA tender, also gives the Steelers exclusive negotiating rights if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign elsewhere by July 22nd or the first day of training camp. That is what that deadline that I was talking about a minute ago. So there is like somewhat of a deadline for Aaron Rodgers if he wants to play somewhere else, or if he wants to sign somebody somewhere else, he would have to sign before July 22nd or the first day of training camp. Last year in 2025, Aaron Rodgers obviously played for the Steelers. He went 10-6 with all 16 starts. He had a 65.7% completion rate for passes with 24 tutties and 7 interceptions on that 1 year. He had a $13.65 million deal with the Steelers. And again, if he signed with the Steelers this year, that would be increased by 10%, giving him about $15 million salary. And like I said, he's turning 43 this year. He's 42 years old. That's old. That is very old. Let's look up how old is the average NFL player. Yeah, the average NFL player is 26.6 years old. Aaron Rodgers turning 43 this year. Not young. He's not young. I mean, 26 years old isn't even really close to 30. Most of your guys are done by 30, 32, 33. 33 is very old for sports, and he's 10 years past that. And like I said, Aaron Rodgers staying in Steelers, where he obviously knows the town and the team pretty well because he played with them last year. But Mike McCarthy, who he knows better than pretty much everybody else in the NFL, played 13 seasons with them and won a Super Bowl with him. That is definitely going to help the Steelers' case bringing Aaron Rodgers back. And I think that was also a strategy that the Steelers used. Like the Steelers, when they fired Mike Tomlin, or they didn't fire him, but when they told Mike Tomlin you're on a 1-year suspension or whatever you call it, I think they were thinking like, we need to keep Aaron Rodgers. Mike McCarthy has a good relationship with him. Again, I feel like it's hard to have a good relationship with Aaron Rodgers just because he's mentally insane. But I think Mike McCarthy does a good job with that. And Aaron Rodgers did win 2 MVPs with under McCarthy. Let's move on here. Let's check out the TikTok Live, the NBA lottery. Yeah, the NBA lottery starts at 3:30. We don't have it on right now, actually, but I can turn it on. I have it on my laptop, but it's not on one of the TVs. If you guys are just now joining the TikTok Live, make sure to follow if you haven't already. The lottery, again, I have it on my laptop, but it's not. Let's see if I can change this. For you guys listening on the podcast, there's going to be a short intermission here while I put on the NBA lottery. There it is. Okay, yeah, there's the NBA draft lottery. Who's this guy? HKY, I'm pretty sure he's been following for a while on TikTok Live. He asked, do you think that the Tigers will come back or fall off? I think they'll come back. I think they're a good team. I think they started the season off strong, and they're just in a slump. Every team's been there. The Dodgers have been there. The Dodgers were there a couple weeks ago. They'll come back. They'll be a playoff team. They're better than the White Sox. They're better than the Royals. I think they're better than the Guardians. They'll come back, and I think they'll be fine. They're only 2.5 games back in the best division in baseball. The AL Central is just a super strong team right now, but I don't think they'll have a problem. Oh, you guys can't see the draft. I don't know. I can't move the camera right now, but we have 14 minutes until the draft lottery starts. But let's move on to the NBA as the lottery starts here in just 14 minutes. Is LeBron's career over? So right now the Lakers are down 3-0 to the Thunder. The Thunder on fire. The Thunder, the best team in the league right now by far. It's not even close. Their odds of winning it all are like minus 110. Like, it's a given. They haven't lost a game yet in the playoffs so far. But his contract is up after the end of this year. And everybody wants to say, like, oh, he's going to do a farewell tour. He's going to announce it. The whole last year is just going to be a big celebration of him. He's 41 years old, and he has some injuries. He missed the beginning of the season this year, and then, I don't know. Tomorrow, Monday, could be LeBron James' last game in the NBA. He's been playing for 20-something years or whatever. His own son is playing with him. But yeah, the Lakers are down 3-0. I think that LeBron James will play one more year. Again, I think he has to do a farewell tour. I feel like he has to. But again, if the injuries, if the age, like if that just keeps giving up, like for the last 5 years, people have been saying he's going to retire. Might just give it up. But I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't want to say for sure, but there is a chance that Monday's LeBron's last game. And it sucks that he has to go down like this. Like he's going to go down getting swept. Maybe. Unless they pull off a miracle win, but I think that the Thunder have this in the bag. We'll look at the scores. Where are we? Yeah, right here. We'll look at the scores of the last 3 games. It's not even close. Game 1, OKC won 108-19, so they won by 18 points. Game 2, OKC won 125-107. Wasn't close. They lost by 17, and then they lost by 23 last night in Los Angeles, to give you perspective on that. So it's not good. It's not looking good for LeBron. Even though in this series he is leading in points per game, that's crazy. How are you going to let a guy who's 42 years old or however old he is put up 23 points per game, 4 rebounds a game, and 6.7 assists per game? That is unreal from LeBron. But yeah, they're gonna lose. OKC's just that good. They're that good. They're that deep. You can't stop them. They haven't lost yet. They had an incredible regular season. We'll talk more about it here in a second. But if LeBron's career is over, give it up for the guy, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and the 7 billion people on the 8 billion people on Earth, and however long the Earth's been around for, one of the greatest basketball players to ever do it. It's insane, though. He's had an incredible career. His stats are here. I'm not even going to go over all the stats. It would take me a year to go over all the stats and accomplishments he's had. But Monday night could be potentially his last game in the NBA. Now let's talk about the Warriors. Steve Kerr, another legend in the NBA world. He has agreed to a 2-year contract to return with the Golden State Warriors as their head coach. This will be his 13th season with the team. This season was a little down year. They finished 37-45, and they were seeded 10th in the West, and they were eliminated by the Suns in the play-in round just a couple weeks ago. But this deal keeps him. He was already the highest-paid head coach in the league, but this will keep it like that, as I'm not sure exactly how much he will make. 2-year contract. Yeah, so he made $17.5 million this season as a head coach. He will make that, if not more, next season, continuing his streak of highest paid head coach. Even though this year was kind of a bust for the Warriors, he has 4 NBA titles with the Warriors. He's been to 6 finals with them, and he's won 5 titles as a player. With the Bulls and Spurs, he also won 5 titles. He's one of those guys that are like, you're just going to keep talking about him even when he retires. 50 years from now, you're still going to hear the name Steve Kerr. He wasn't a Michael Jordan, he wasn't a LeBron James, but he was incredibly good, and he was an incredibly good coach as well. 9 total titles for Steve Kerr. And as of right now, again, the lottery is about to start here in the upper right TV, but the Warriors hold the 11th best odds for a top 4 pick in the NBA lottery. They have a 9.4% chance of a top 4 pick. I don't love those odds if I'm a Warriors fan. I'm not a Warriors fan, but we will see what happens here in just about 20 minutes or so. We will see who gets these picks. All right, now that it's MLB season, we could talk more about MLB headlines. Automatic ball strike system. So the ABS system has been a big part the ABS system has been a big part of the MLB season this year, and I just like every week going over the stats, see how much it has helped the game that we all know and love. All of these percentages that I will tell you, everybody's like, oh, it's under 50%, oh, it's barely over 50%. Anything above 1% is good. So the overall overturn rate for the ball, for the ABS, the tap on the head, 53% of the time, the calls are overturns. We have had over 2,400 attempts so far this season, and over almost 1,300 have been overturned. This is as of 3 o'clock on Sunday, May 10th. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. So that is over 1,200 calls that last year would have been called wrong. Think about how many calls, and again, these are close calls. Think about how many close calls there are in a game. There aren't many. Maybe 10, 15, 20. We're at the end of the season, this is going to be 10,000. It's not going to be 10,000, but it's going to be thousands of overturned calls. And the ABS system has helped so many teams and is going to help so many teams, because there would have been teams in the past 100 years that have lost World Series or NLCS or conference series or divisional series, or every game could have had a different outcome if there was ABS. And I love the innovation and I love the new technology. Batters have a 46% overturn rate. They have 515 overturned calls in over 1,100 attempts. And then fielders, this is a combination of pitchers and catchers. Catchers have a 60% overturn rate. They have tapped the helmet 1,254 times, and 755 of those have been overturned. 499 have been confirmed. And then pitchers have only tapped their hats 46 times, just because they're 60 feet 6 inches away, and then they don't have the best eyesight. They're very biased towards their own pitches. So there's only been 46 attempts. 17 of those have been overturned. What I'm wondering is that out of those 17 overturned calls, why didn't the catcher tap their head? It's just a little questionable to me. Like, I feel like the catcher should do it. I don't love pitchers doing it unless it's in like the 9th inning, because you got nothing to lose. You can't carry the challenges over to the next game. So, but yeah, ABS, give it up for MLB. They're testing out ACS, which is swings, and seeing is like check swings. Did he go? Did he not go? They're testing that out in the minors. And then again, I think in the next few years, there's going to be a beep in the ear for the umpire, and there's not going to be any of that. There's not going to be any called balls and strikes or wrong calls. Umpire scorecards isn't going to be a thing. Hate to break it to you, but I love how the MLB is innovating all this stuff. For you guys on the TikTok live, thank you all for watching. Are you going to show the draft lottery? It's actually on that TV that you can hardly see. I'm going to try to wrap this up before then, and if I am, I'll turn the camera or whatever. But for now, follow and either stay with us for the next few minutes to finish up the podcast, or it's on ESPN, so you can watch it there. We'll see. We'll see who gets the number 1 pick. All right, moving on to MLB standings. We'll talk more about the NBA lottery in a minute. But MLB standings, let's talk about first the American League. The Rays and Yankees are tied for first place. The Rays are 25-13, and the Yankees are 26-14. So the Yankees have one more win and one more loss than the Rays. They're both 14-6 at home. It's just a random stat. Rays have been on fire recently. You know, they're back in the trop. They're feeling themselves. Good for the Rays. The Blue Jays are 7.5 games back. Crazy. You go from World Series to 7.5 games back, just 40 games into the season. And then the Red Sox 8.5 games back, and Orioles lost all hope at the beginning of the season. They are 9 games back, 17-23. I'm not going to say if you don't have 20 wins, you're in bad shape, because it's a long season. But if you don't have 20 wins, you're doing something wrong. You just are. In the AL Central, somebody asked me about this earlier. The Tigers are 2.5 games back. It's a great division. I don't know why I said it's a great division. It's a horrible division. There's only one team over 500. I'm sorry, whoever was asking that earlier. Yeah, AL Central, horrible division. I don't know why I said great division. It's a close division, but they all suck. But yeah, Guardians are atop at 21-20. Everybody else is below 500. Royals 19-21. White Sox 18-21. Tigers 18-22. Do well with your guys, Tigers. They'll be able to come back again. It's a close division. It's a division that sucks, But yeah, the Twins, 3.5 games back. It's anybody's division. The division just sucks so far this year. And then in the AL West, another division that sucks. Only one team. If you would have told me, what's the one team in the AL West that's going to be above 500 40 games into the season, it would not have been the Athletics. The Athletics are 21-18. Mariners 2.5 games behind them. You have the guys. The Mariners have the guys. What are we doing? They're still 2.5 games back, so they can still catch up. It's not a problem. Rangers, 3 games back. Astros, 5.5 games back. The Astros are somehow going to find a way. They have a lot of injuries right now, but they're somehow going to find a way to win the AL West. Put it on May 10th. They're going to find a way. Right now, they're 16-24, and they suck, and they have a whole bunch of injuries. But come back to this podcast, episode 148, filmed on Mother's Day. Astros are going to come back and win the division. They find a way every year to do it. They'll be fine. And then the Angels are 6.5 games back. The Astros, the injuries just kind of suck for them. In the NL East, you have the Braves. The Braves up by 8 games. They're 27-13. They are currently in the middle of the series against the Dodgers. They are 1-1 on the series. 8 games behind them is the Nationals. And then you have the Phillies, who I expected to be a lot better than they are this season. They are 18-22, 9 games back. The Marlins are also at that record, 9 games back. And then the Mets, the second highest payroll in the MLB, 15-24. What are we doing? You have the guys. They buy the players, but they can't buy themselves a win, unlike the Dodgers. And then in the NL Central, the Cubs are leading by 3.5 games. The Cardinals 3.5 games behind them. Brewers, a game behind the Cardinals. Pirates, they're over 500. They're at 22-8. They're 5 games back. Pirates still have a chance at making the playoffs. This division, the NL Central is the best division in baseball. The AL Central is the worst division in baseball. NL Central, they're going to have quite a few teams make the playoffs, I think. We'll see how the season shakes out. Again, we're only 25% done with the season, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this NL Central does. And then last, but certainly not least, you have the NL West. The Dodgers up by a game ahead of the Padres. Dodgers, they've had their highs and lows so far this season. They're facing the Braves, who are an incredibly good team right now. They lost last night. They won the night before. Padres, also a good team. They're currently in their low part right now. And then you got the Diamondbacks, Rockies, and Giants. The Giants, 15-24. They suck. Even though they just traded away Patrick Bailey, so they've kind of already given out on the season. But, yeah, that's just a little current MLB standings update. Let's talk about March Madness. All right, so the draft lottery is just starting. The Hornets got the 14th pick. The Heat had the 13th pick. OKC has the 12th pick. The Warriors have the 11th pick. The Bulls have a top 4 pick. The Bucks have the 10th pick. The Hawks have the 8th pick. The Mavericks have the 9th pick. I'm trying to read his lips. The Kings have the 7th pick. These guys don't seem very happy. The Grizzlies have 6. Oh, the Grizzlies have a top 4 pick. The Nets have the number 6 pick. The Jazz have a top 4 pick. All right, let's see. The Clippers have the number 5. Yeah, the Clippers have the number 5 pick. And then the last top 4 team is the Capitals. Or, sorry, not the Capitals. The Wizards. So, yeah, Wizards, Jazz, Grizzlies, and Bulls will have the top 4 picks in this year's NFL draft. But let's talk about March Madness. The March Madness tournament is extending to 76 teams starting next year. So it's been 68 teams for a few years now. We've seen more teams come in and out. But the NCAA officially expanded the men's and women's basketball tournaments from 68 to 76 teams, and that will start again this year. This is the first men's tournament expansion since 2011, because it used to be 65 teams, and then it jumped up to 68. And then in 1985 was the last time that it jumped up this big. It went from 32 to 64, and then again, it's only going up by 8 teams or whatever, but that is the biggest jump since 1985. The women's tournament expanded from 64 teams to 68 teams. Women's tournament still is jumping up to 76 teams. The last time they expanded was in 2022 when they jumped from 64 to 68. So the first 4 rounds, if you want to say, is being replaced with an opening round where 24 teams will play 12 games instead of 8 teams playing 4 games. So we essentially just get a whole another side of the bracket, which is going to make brackets a lot harder. I'm not sure how brackets are going to work with that. But on the men's side, the opening round games are going to be played on that Tuesday and Wednesday before the round of 64, and that will be in Dayton, and then the second city is expected to be on the west side of the country. And then on the women's side of the bracket, the opening round for the women's will be played on that Wednesday and Thursday, and there'll be 12 different campuses that will host that. All right, that is going to do it for the 148th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Go to shophattricksports.com, get the best merch around. You can listen to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube for all the visuals. Good, and we will see you guys next week for episode 149.